I talked about the two things that the Nuggets were top five in last year that they were really good in. They were good at preventing 3-point attempts. They were good at protecting the rim. And this season, like even the good stuff, not the only thing that pops is like, oh, opponents aren't taking a bunch of free throws against us. But that's not something that they are elite in that's going to move the needle defensively. And I'm kind of concerned about that just because I wonder like what is it that they're going to be good at? Like one of the things that was good about the Nuggets in the last 2 years, like including in the title year, is that yeah, they have all of these mismatch problems for teams offensively, but with the exception of Peyton Watson as like a player that's going to be a mismatch defensively that could really like wreak havoc on another team in terms of like in a playoff setting, like what is it that we're going to do that makes the other team uncomfortable? I don't know that there's anything that this Nuggets team defensively does to make other teams uncomfortable. And part of that is just the level of physicality that they are playing with or just not playing with.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is like there's nothing statistically or in the eye test that's really popping out as like this is a problem that we create for teams on that end of the floor. Like they had in the past, like particularly with KCP, and obviously AG has been out, and he's another like big problem for teams. So I have to
Yeah.
keep that in mind too. But it's just something that's in the back of my mind.
I mean, the one thing we know we like to do at least is like blitz and play up at the screen. And if you run a double drag or you have short
Right. But they have
rollers
to be
or
better about that. Like they have to do
yeah,
it better to make
yeah,
like you have to show me that you can make teams uncomfortable
exactly. And because
doing
you're just
that.
gonna get killed on a short roller who's really good at passing, like, and
Yeah.
that's happening.
It's one of
Especially,
the reasons like I want the turnover rate to pop more because that's something that you'd expect. If there's a team that's like really making teams uncomfortable with the way that they blitz, they're going to be
right?
forcing more turnovers. Like how is that going to manifest itself in like in the box score? But that's not something that's really popping.
They're not playing that coverage to force turnovers. It's like we're playing that coverage because that's like a
Right.
way to play with Jokic on defense because he's not the
Yeah.
best drop defender, so or rim defender. So I don't know if it's just we do that out of necessity, but if they are going to do that, they should probably try to be like elite at
Better
it.
at
And
it.
yeah,
Yeah. They've also
so
been playing a lot more zone, and in some
oh
games
yeah,
it's an active zone, and other games mostly like it's a pretty lazy zone, and they're just kind of half-assing it. And it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, other teams are just gonna get comfortable against this because
mm-hmm.
you're not forcing them to be uncomfortable. And that's that kind of general sentiment. And it's not really like a specific schematic thing or one thing that I want them to do that they're not doing. I more turnovers would be like nice in my eyes. But just generally, it doesn't feel like opponents ever get uncomfortable against our defense, except for
Yeah,
these stretches where they're trying to make these big comebacks. Whereas I feel like there were times in the past where we could make teams uncomfortable defensively, and they just haven't been doing that. And I think it's like I think it's a combination of personnel and execution
mm.
largely. Like they have to be committed to whatever it is that they're doing. And I don't really sense that.
They almost are forced to flip the switch defensively. Like they're down and they know they got to lock in, and they
Yeah.
never just like bring that
Yeah.
motivation and
To
intensity
start.
just to do it. And like we just haven't really put together a really good cohesive game yet. It's part of why
Yeah.
the Nuggets are such a roller coaster.